I've created an interface over here to the right where I'm using anchors in the navigation area to pull up different parts of notes. Like for instance, this is, I didn't really know how to title this, so I just put 297 to 301. And over here in a field set and a legend, in the legend I have 297-301. The legend I gave a border radius of 20 or 30, so it's got rounded corners, and the field set part is still pointy corners because I didn't round their borders. And so field set legend and an audio tag so that I can play an MP3 audio snippet of whatever the code is that I'm going over here. This area right here, this navigation area, I have set to fixed. So as you can see, the only thing that moves when I move this outer scroll bar is this section that has all these different field sets, legends, audio tags, and text areas over and over again. Here's another field set with nothing in it. I'm sorry, a legend with nothing in it, a field set, and inside that we've got audio tag, and it's set to 0 because there's no MP3 connected to it right now, and this white space that is underneath it is a text area. I set the font for the text area relatively large, like I think it's like 30 pixels or 40 pixels, and I don't have the text area set to disabled, so you can actually type on top of it. I don't have any memory code, cookies or local storage set for this, so once you hit the refresh button, whatever you typed goes away. So if you are typing in this text area and it's something you want to keep, you have to highlight it all, copy it and paste it and put it on the inside of the code in between the text area tags. But this is just for simplicity. Alright, so that's my interface. That's my interface, and let me show you how my anchor tags work. I click on whatever little area over here in the navigation, and it stops right here at this particular field set and legend. Reason being, this link has aref equals #1, and then in here in the field set it connects to this section with what is it, ID equals 1? I think it's ID equals 1. And then when I click the second one, setting element styles by type, I click this, it immediately pulls. So you don't have to scroll. Basically, you can scroll from that to that. If you see right here, this is 297 to 301, and this is a text area that you can scroll to get to the bottom of. And then you can scroll to get to the next area, setting element styles by type. And here's the next text area. And you can scroll through that to the third, apply styles using JavaScript and body. Right here's the third one. But instead of having the user have to do that, you can use these anchor tags and it just pops them exactly where they need to be. So it's just kind of a convenience in navigation. It's also a convenience in having only one web page that I'm writing all these notes in. You can have navigation that just opens up a bunch of separate web pages so that each section of your notes is on its own web page. But sometimes it's nice to just not have so many files, less files, and just, make it function for you. Alright, anyway, I'm going to go over the code in this fourth little snip, setting CSS classes with JavaScript. I have test.html over here that's blank on the left. I'm just going to move it and open this up. Now I'm frozen. Okay. So, HTML, and again, I got this snippet out of the book, JavaScript Step by Step, the library book that needs to go back any day now. HTML, head, title, test, script, type equals text / JavaScript, source equals ehandler.js, end script. That's that external helper JavaScript that the book uses in many of its projects. Then I've got a set of style tags here that is nesting a style. class, error class. The dot means class, so it means you can use this for multiple elements on the page. Dot error class, and it's got two styles. This one, font weight bold, and this one, color red. Very simple. Then we have a script in the head. Here's the opening script tag, and there's two functions in the head script. We've got function add error class with there are no parameters in the parentheses, so the parentheses is empty. And then there's two statements inside of the curly braces. Var tagline element equals document.getElement by ID tagline. And the second statement, tagline element.class name plus equals error class. And so you see that tagline is enclosed in double quotes and error class is enclosed in double quotes. Okay, so let's look at the second function. Function remove, I think. Oof. Here, remove error class. Nothing in the parentheses, so there's no parameters to this. And this is similar to the one above it in that it only has two statements. Var tagline element equals document.getElement by ID tagline. And come on, not in the mood. Tagline element.class name equals tagline element.class name.replace. And here we have a regular expression. I don't have too much practice code with regular expressions, so it was nice to see this in the book. We've got //b, then the name error class, then /b, / a comma, and an empty set of double quotes. And then there's the end of the script tag, so we're done with the head script. We're done with those two JavaScript functions. You have end of the head, you got the body, you have an H1 header, H1 ID equals heading, testing JavaScript code, and H1. Then you have this paragraph that P ID equals tagline. Now, this tagline, if you remember something I just read earlier with the word tagline, this is the ID, so it's going to manipulate the text inside of this paragraph. I'm going to change this to this is what will change. Okay. And then you have another paragraph opening and closing tag here with just a bunch of random baloney, nothing in there that makes any sense. And you have another paragraph there and there. And there's two buttons in this paragraph. Input, type equals button, ID equals add error class button, value equals add error class. And here's a second button. Input type equals button, ID equals remove error class button, value equals remove error class. So these two buttons are what we are going to use to call the functions to add a special class to this paragraph with the ID of tagline and to take it away as well. We are almost at the end of this, but we also have another script, another set of JavaScript. Here's the opening script tag and here's the closing right before the end of the body, as you can see here. Okay, what this statement does, var add error class button equals document.getElement by ID add error class button. The error, this name inside of the parentheses and double quotes is the ID to the button I created. It has an ID of add error class button. I could have named the variable right here. I could have said var green balloon if I wanted to. This isn't what is important. What's important is your ID that goes to the element that you're referring to. So then when we use this ehandler.add, which is being used in conjunction with the ehandler.js external JavaScript, we have add error class button, which is this ID. It's very important that you understand that. And if you do use a variable that is of a different name, like I said, if you said var green balloon equals document dot get element by ID, as long as this is spelled correctly, as what it is here, input type equals button ID equals whatever that is, as long as that's spelled correctly, then you could use the variable green balloon here. It just so happens that the book gave the variable name a name identical to the element's ID, which to me lessens confusion. I think it's actually better that way, but some people like to give the variable name something totally different. Whatever. Okay, comma, click. We want the button's click event to do something. What do we want it to do? Well, what's after this? We want it to call a function. And in curly braces here, we are going to type the name of the function that we want the error class button's click event to call. So we want it to call add error class. And this parenthesis belongs to that, and this semicolon closes this whole statement. So basically we created a button, and we're using this eHandler.add to add a function to the button. And we're going to do the same thing for the remove button. var remove error class button equals document get element by ID, and here's that button's ID, remove error class button, that's the ID we were given it. And the next statement, eHandler.add, remove error class button, comma click, comma function. What function do we want to call with the click event of the remove error class button? We want to call remove error class. Boom. Alright, so what this is doing in a nutshell, and there's the end of the script, the end of the body, the end of HTML. What this code is doing in a nutshell is it's creating a special CSS style, okay? And they're calling it an error class because we're giving it a color of red. And usually, if you have an error message, you want to give it a color of red so that it really stands out and catches the user's attention. Okay. I guess let me just run it. First of all, I'm in the text area here, and like I said, I'm able to type on it. I'm also able to hit Control A to highlight all, and I can right click this and copy, or I think I can Control C, I think, copies. I can go into Notepad++, into this test.html. I could right click and Control V, which pastes this straight from my text area of this little interface I created, and save it. And as long as I don't have any typos in here, run it, launch in Chrome. This is what the page outputs. Testing JavaScript code, that was my header. I guess I better put this side by side. Here's the H1 tag, testing JavaScript code, testing JavaScript code. Here's P tag, ID equals tagline. This is what will change. This is what will change. Here's another P tag, another paragraph with a bunch of garbage in it. And there's the garbage. In this P tag we have one button, and the value says add error class. This value says add error class. Here's the other button right here that says remove error class. Now let's check to see if our code works. When I click this, we should get this style dot error class. See, tagline element dot class name plus equals error class. We should tack that style on to this paragraph. So let's go. Boom. Font weight bold, color red. And I guess to make it even more obvious, I could say font size something ridiculous like 50 pixels. Let's try that on for size. Add error class. Ooh, I messed something up. What'd I do? What did I do? Whoa, there it goes. Remove error class. takes it back. Add error class, remove error class. I guess that font size 50 was a little ridiculous. The fact that it's turning red is good enough, and going bold. So you see that we are able to use JavaScript to manipulate classes of elements using their IDs. So using a style ID, using the ID of the element, and using JavaScript, we can toy around with stuff like this. You could also make, and this is what browsers do, but I'm not sure exactly how their code is, but it's probably a similar concept. When you want to increase the size of the font so that the user who may have bad eyes can make their font larger, it's probably something similar. They allow you to do things with your mouse scroll and certain keys on the keyboard, and that increments the size of your font. And by doing this, you're able to change the color and the font weight. And also, as I showed you, you could change what happened here. Change the size as well. And any other way that you can change style, you can do it that way too.